I don't want to wear my helmet. It makes me look weird. It gives me a headache. Why do I have to? People may say that they don't need a helmet. They're too good, too knowledgeable, too old. Their horse is calm, bomb-proof, old, will, quote unquote, take care of them. But this is a 2,000 plus pound animal that is unpredictable, that can cause serious damage and death within seconds. Who would risk their life by not wearing a helmet? There are many stigmas around wearing helmets, and certain disciplines believe that wearing a helmet may cause people to be bolder because they think their head is protected and that if they fall, nothing bad will happen. There are so many reasons that horses will stop and you could potentially fall off. Even if you are an experienced rider, a hard stop or rotational fall, like you see in this picture, can cause an individual to fall off. When you do fall off, there's potential that your horse could crush you, or your helmet is the only thing that's going to save your life. You may land hard on a rock. 2 summers ago, I was riding and I was jumping a horse that was known for jumping over anything, was bomb-proof, never really had been spooked, was completely safe. Well, as unpredictable as they are, something spooked him as we were coming up to a jump. I believed that he was going to go over the jump, and he came to a sliding stop, and the momentum made me fall over his shoulder. I landed directly on the back of my head. I rarely remember what happened. Only my trainer was able to tell me the complete story, and I ended up with a severe concussion and was unable to ride for a few months. If I had not been wearing my helmet, there is potential that I could have had a traumatic brain injury. This is just one of the many stories that I personally have, or that my friends have shared with me in their experiences. Horses are wonderful animals. They help reduce anxiety. They're fun. Most of the time you create bonds with horses and animals through the love of the sport, but they are a large, unpredictable animal. Horses are wonderful animals that we all should be able to enjoy if we want to, but we all need to take safety precautions just as we would with any other sport. Simply because they are an animal does not mean that we need to let our guard down. Due to their size and their unpredictable nature, this should have us all with our guards up at all times, and the best thing we can do to protect ourselves is to wear a helmet. And helmets range in price, and they range in style, and you're never too old or too knowledgeable to wear a helmet. This is Jackie. Jackie wears a helmet. Jackie jumps 3 foot. Jackie never is without her helmet. Be like Jackie. Protect your melon. My semester project was about helmet awareness within the equestrian community and why we all should be wearing helmets when we are working with horses. This topic is so important to me because I compete on the hunter jumper circuit, and I also know a lot of people that compete around the world within the United States. This is so important because there are certain disciplines within the equestrian communities that do not wear helmets when they're working with horses, and the statistics just prove that horses are super unpredictable, and there's so many things that can go wrong and can lead to traumatic brain injuries, which will impact a person's life forever. I want people to realize that there is not a negative stigma around wearing a helmet. It doesn't matter if you're young, old, knowledgeable. No one will look down upon you if you are wearing a helmet while you're working with horses. It's way more important to be safe and to protect your head, or in the equestrian community, we like to say your melon, because if you do something to your brain, you're no longer going to be able to work with horses. In a year, there's roughly 60 fatals from horseback riding compared to 8 a year in other contact sports. It's also true that there's about 12,000 emergency room visits a year based on head trauma from horse-related incidents, but in total, there is 97,763 emergency room visits due to horses. Roughly about 45.2% of all of those visits are traumatic brain injury incidences. Overall, there is a greater risk of hospitalization due to working with horses than any other high-risk activity that the National Injury Surveillance System has concluded. In terms of the 5 E's that we've learned over the course of this semester, wearing a helmet would incorporate that all helmets are certified by engineers to be in the best condition for the equestrian skull and brain protection. Enacting a PSA or a law about enforcing helmets would not only at shows but at home facilities by barn owners and managers would prevent individuals from riding without helmets. It's also important to educate riders of all ages the pros to wearing a helmet while riding and showing them the data to help convince them that it would severely decrease their chance of having a traumatic brain injury or concussion if they were to fall. It's also important to have helmet companies on board in order to help with those with financial means, because some people do say that they don't wear a helmet because helmets are too expensive to wear and replace if something were to happen. Lastly, of the 5 E's would be emergency response, and there needs to be more emergency personnel that are educated within horseback riding injuries, as they can vary from potentially any other injuries that they see daily. If you want to find more information about equestrian helmet awareness, you can go to the National Injury Surveillance System that states the injuries related to equestrians over the years. You can also go to the United States Equestrian Federation, which is USEF, and they're the governing body over any equestrians within the United States in the hunter or jumper circuit. You can also look up pony club rules, which govern the bodies of younger students who are learning to ride, as well as there are several wide-known equestrians that have done interviews with blogs and podcasts all over the world. Thank you everyone for watching my PSA and listening to more about why this topic is so important to me. Remember to ride on and always protect your melon.